Right now at 10, the first contested sheriff's race in 16 years. The candidates say although it's a partisan race, they want to serve everyone equally.
And campaign bus tours. Senator Ron Johnson and Governor Tony Evers made stops in the La Crosse area to spur voters during this home stretch.
Plus, Saving Green, a La Crosse pilot program, is expected to lower energy bills for low-income renters.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10. I'm Amy DuPont.
And I'm Ken Kozarowski. Attack ads are common during an election. A La Crosse race, though, seems to be the exception.
The candidates for La Crosse County Sheriff are taking the political high road. News 8 Now's Dua Srar spoke to both, who say the sheriff's race is bigger than the letter next to their name.
A passion for service is required for this La Crosse County job. But filling out a job application won't get you far.
Sheriff is a unique position because it is a constitutional position, meaning that it's elected.
When voters head to the polls on November 8th, they will choose between Fritz Leinfelder and John Siegel as the next sheriff of La Crosse County.
They both have a lot of experience. They both are considered pretty evenly handed.
Earlier this year, Sheriff Jeff Wolf announced he would be stepping down after one term. Prior to Wolf, Steve Helgeson held the position for 12 years.
Incumbency means everything in those types of positions.
This is the first time since 2006 that two candidates are running in a general election.
The opportunity to run for sheriff doesn't come very often.
According to Article 6 of the Wisconsin Constitution, sheriffs shall be chosen by the electors of the respective counties during the same time as the governor's race.
Everything on the ballot of a November election is partisan in nature.
Leinfelder is running as a Republican. Siegel is running as a Democrat. Political analyst Joe Heim says none of that matters.
This is the type of position you want to vote for the person, not the party.
Both candidates agree.
If I'm a certain political party and I have a victim of a crime that's a different political party, that we're not going to be able to serve justice for that person. That's ridiculous, and it won't happen that way.
I think that we should represent everybody at the county.
Leinfelder says although political affiliation doesn't matter at the sheriff's level,
it's a system that's been in play. It's worked, and I don't foresee it changing anytime soon.
Siegel says he hopes sheriff's races continue to focus on a person's experience.
Law enforcement should have that higher standard of we serve everyone, we protect everyone, and this sheriff's race should be no different.
Heim says as partisanship trickles down to the local level, the future of the sheriff's race may look different.
I don't expect it to get partisan in the normal sense of that term. However, I probably could have said that a few years back about other races as well.
Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Srar, News 8 Now.
And statewide, there are 17 contested sheriff races on the ballot statewide.
Boy, what a beautiful start to the month of November. Probably double checking to make sure it is indeed November, with highs in the lower to middle 70s, 74 in La Crosse and Sparta, 73 in Winona, 71 in Eau Claire, 74 in Black River Falls, 75 in Boscobel. These are typical temperatures of mid to late September, not early November. Skies are mainly clear, just a few high clouds in far northern parts of the viewing area. Still pretty mild, 58 degrees at this 10 o'clock hour in La Crosse, 63 in Winona, 52 in Eau Claire. Our traditional cool spots in the lower 40s, Sparta and Black River Falls, I should say. Still a pair of 5s for Viroqua and 56 in Prairie du Chien. So mainly clear tonight. Milder temperatures in the past several nights. Lows in the 40s for most, including about 48 in La Crosse. Most spots will bottom out between about 40 and 50 degrees. School cast for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, 60s by lunchtime. And look at that afternoon high around 76 degrees. That could be a record breaker here in La Crosse. We'll talk more about that with my 8-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks very much, Bill.
Election day 1 week from today, and the candidates are busy. Governor Tony Evers is on the campaign trail. The Democratic incumbent stopped at the UW La Crosse today on his Do the Right Thing bus tour.
The governor is running against Republican challenger Tim Michels. Evers says if he's reelected, he will work to raise shared revenue. Shared revenue is the portion of tax money the state sends back to municipalities to pay for things like emergency services and schools.
It's something that's been frankly shorted for years and years and years. I put some in my last couple of budgets, and the Republicans zeroed it out. So we'll be looking at least for a 4% increase in both years of the biennium. That will help them dramatically. If you think about it, over the last dozen years, the largest increase they have received is 0.03% going forward. First of all,
and there are 81 Wisconsin schools putting referendums on the ballot. Locally, La Crosse, Onalaska, and Bangor have school referendums. Holmen and Alaska have public safety referendums.
Wisconsin's incumbent U.S. Senator Ron Johnson also made a campaign stop in the Cooley region today. Now, over the weekend, former President Obama had criticized Johnson on Social Security, saying Johnson doesn't care about voters. Johnson has pushed for the program to be moved from mandatory spending to discretionary, meaning it has to be approved in each budget. The Republican says Obama is the deceiver in chief, and the rest of the Democrats are liars.
President Obama, what are you so angry about? I mean, you split your time between Martha's Vineyard, the sanctuary city that just couldn't handle, I guess, 50 migrants, and Washington, D.C. Then he comes into Wisconsin and accuses me of being out of touch.
Now, Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who's running against Johnson, has proposed raising the tax limit on Social Security because currently only people earning up to $147,000 a year are taxed for the program.
The Republican candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General says crime victims and their families are waiting too long for closure. During a campaign stop in Sparta, Eric Toney met with the Monroe County Sheriff and District Attorney. Toney is the current Fond du Lac County District Attorney and president of the Wisconsin District Attorneys Association. Toney says state resources haven't changed, but under incumbent Democrat Josh Kaul's leadership, it's taken longer for prosecutors to get evidence like lab results back in a timely manner. And Toney says that's harmful for everyone involved with the case.
Sorry, I'm going to start with a name. And that's families, victims waiting for justice, a defendant maybe sitting in custody, waiting for that evidence for a case to move forward. And we need an attorney general that's not going to give these issues lip service and actually make it a priority. I'm going to start with
in a recent debate, Attorney General Josh Kaul told reporters testing time for DNA and intoxication has gone up, but that's because the state invested in a more precise testing system. Kaul went on to say he has requested more resources at the state crime lab, but has only received about half of what he asked for.
Switching to Minnesota, the Republican candidate for governor says his plan on abortion can create positive changes in the state. Dr. Scott Jensen is running against DLF incumbent Tim Walz. The Minnesota Constitution lists abortion as a legal process. Jensen says he's not looking to change that. As a pro-life doctor, Jensen says he and his running mate Matt Burke can still show that they can be, quote, for women.
That means that we have birth control pills over the counter like the majority of the world has. That means we max out the prices of a birth control pill pack for a month at $10. That means that we have paid maternity programs. We can make abortion and its consideration much, much less prominent in our society.
Now, Governor Walz has said there will never be an abortion ban under his watch. Last week, he also signed executive action declining to honor neighboring state requests to extradite women who come to Minnesota for an abortion.
After the break, an election staple tossed aside.
The break in tradition in this year's race for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight as we soar over city streets. And our fuel economy is ever so wise. This ride's a hoot. Trust us, Toyota sedans.
Get 3.49% APR for 48 months on a new Toyota Corolla, Camry, RAV4, Highlander, or Tacoma. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Jolivet Family Farms, known for farm fresh fruit and vegetables, but featuring so much more. Come see all that we have. Homemade bakery, large selection of locally produced honey, gourmet popcorn, craft beer, wine, and cheese, meat and seafood, arts and crafts, and so much more. There is no substitute for homegrown freshness. Open daily year-round. Jolivet Family Farms, West Salem.
Under Tony Evers and Joe Biden, it's been bad, but it's gonna get much worse because winter is coming. That's right. Reports are saying natural gas heating bills are going up by 28%. Inflation has already caused pain at the pump, grocery checkouts, on rent. But this fall, there's still time to stop the winter pain by voting no on Tony Evers before he makes it even worse, if that's possible.
Debates are a common part of politics, but that appears to be changing. Voters in Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District won't hear from the candidates on a debate stage.
Our Jordan Fremstad explains why one candidate chose to stay silent.
'Tis the season.
We saved our pitchforks for lifting hay.
A familiar cadence echoes over the airwaves.
You never had a job outside of politics.
Election attack ads inundate our lives.
What the path?
It's kind of interesting.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
You have to take each one with a grain of salt.
Seriously? What the path?
They pronounced my name right. I give them credit for that.
Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District became an open seat after Ron Kine called it a career.
We have a broken political system today.
After 25 years.
What's going on in Washington makes a big difference.
Candidates normally take their platform to a professional environment where journalists get to ask them real questions. It gives people an authentic perspective of the people who might represent them in their district. However, one of those candidates won't debate.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Republican candidate Derek Van Orden declined Democrat Brad Pfaff's challenge to a debate.
Candidates don't always want everybody to know exactly where they stand on issues.
Van Orden also turned down a candidate interview with Leader Ethics.
Really pleased to introduce Brad Pfaff.
4 or 5 times they tried to contact Van Orden, never got a response.
Political analyst Joe Heim would know. He serves on the board. Van Orden's sizable lead in likely voter polls, Heim says, could explain Van Orden's silence.
And if your candidate is well ahead, why gamble and do a debate?
Nationwide, candidates of both parties are pulling away from the traditional debate platform. In this year's top 5 Senate races, there's been only 6 debates, compared to 17 in 2010. Republican Carrie Lake, running for governor in Arizona, is blasting her Democratic opponent for doing the same.
I would love it if she would show up because I think there's a lot of important issues that the people of Arizona need to hear about.
However, Van Orden's social media offers plenty of words.
Or it might be the 9.1% inflation.
He holds town hall events where his supporters ask the questions.
Federal government needs to be cheerleaders for the police department.
They may or may not ask the right questions, to be blunt.
This leaves out other issues.
I wasn't part of an armed insurrection on January 6th.
And you'd like to hear it from the person's mouth exactly how they explain it.
Heim would like to know more about Pfaff's life.
I'd like to know a little bit more about his background before he entered politics.
Just like a job interview.
They had to share kind of a vision of how they see themselves in the role that they're applying for.
Voters will have to rely on their own knowledge.
They're the losers. That's the sad part of it. We don't know enough about the candidates without having things like debates.
How can voters trust their representation in Washington?
You are not a dictator. You're one of 535 people.
When half of their neighbors' questions are ignored.
I think debates provide a service for people.
Van Orden's campaign has said they would do a town hall style of event, but nothing has been organized. We reached out to his campaign multiple times, but he did not respond to our request for an interview. Now, since there won't be a debate, we will include information about both candidates that you can read about and check out before you head to the polls on Election Day next Tuesday. In La Crosse, I'm Jordan Fremstad, News 8 Now.
Now, the race for Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District is one of roughly 85 that News 8 Now is going to be following on Election Night.
It'll be a busy election night, and you can watch the results come in on air, online, and of course on our social media sites.
Still ahead, going green while saving green.
A pilot program aims to help low-income earners reduce their energy bill using newer technology.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl. Another warm day in store for tomorrow. In fact, record warmth possible for some. I'll have the details in my 8-day forecast after the break.
They found my sister's head in a wood-burning stove, her body in a cornfield, murdered by her own husband. The judge called it the most heinous crime he'd ever seen, and the killer was sent to jail for life. But Tony Evers' parole commission set him free. and they didn't even tell us. Under Evers, hundreds of other violent criminals have been released early. It makes no sense. Governor Evers, everyone in Wisconsin is less safe because of you.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know it needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Why shop the Habitat Restore? We offer new and used building materials, furniture, appliances, home decor, and more at 50 to 70% off retail pricing. New items arrive daily, so it's never the same store twice. Find us on Facebook to catch sneak peeks of products throughout the week. Feel good knowing your purchase helps build and repair homes in our community, as 100% of profits stay local and support Habitat's mission. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. off Highway 16 past Woodman's.
The governor's basic responsibility is to keep us safe, strong, and thriving.
We all know that's not happening.
Tim Michaels, a new direction for Wisconsin.
This election is about what a governor's gonna do. I'm gonna put more money in the pockets of the hardworking families of Wisconsin. We're gonna have safer communities, and we're gonna have better schools. That's what I'm gonna do as your governor. I'm Tim Michaels. If you're ready for a new direction, hop in.
Tim Michaels for governor.
Whether it's windows or doors, siding or sunrooms, baths or kitchens, we've got you covered with our on-staff installers, plumbers, and electricians. Don't lose sleep trying to coordinate it all yourself. We're here to take the pain out of your next remodel. Call or visit today. Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
A La Crosse apartment building is now home to a new pilot program aimed at saving energy.
Coulee Cap teamed up with the Wisconsin Department of Administration Division of Energy, Housing, and Community Resources to install solar panels and heat pumps. Heat pumps can heat and cool a well-winterized home with better efficiency than traditional air conditioning units and furnaces.
Now, the building is owned by Coulee Cap and is rented out to people earning a low income. The goal is to reduce the amount of money being spent on energy costs.
Just think about the low-income community and what they're earning. A very large portion of that is going for their energy needs, and so they want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're reducing that energy burden by offering these opportunities.
The program is expected to save tenants about $1,000 a year and save the state energy assistance program roughly $3,400 a year.
And that definitely adds up, especially with the way prices are these days, energy costs for sure. In the meantime, the world of weather today, Bill Grawl, I mean, it was like the middle of summer out there today, and I am all here for it.
Yeah.
Actually, to be specific, more like mid to late September, so not quite summer, but yeah, you are right. We were 20 degrees above average for high temperatures across the region for today. You'll see that on the almanac in just a moment. First of all, we just wrapped up the month of October. I thought we would revisit the month. Drier than average and slightly cooler than average. Average temperature is 51.1, so only 0.6 degrees below average. Warmest temperature was 81 degrees on the 22nd, and wouldn't you know, only 3 days before that, we hit the coldest temperature of 23 degrees. Rainfall, another dry month, just over an inch, about 1.5 inches below average. So that now makes 9 out of 10 months this year have been drier than average. The only exception was June, and that was just barely wetter than average. Snowfall, only a trace, but no surprise there. We only average about 0.3 of an inch of snow every October. All right, the almanac for today showing a seasonably chilly start, 37 degrees. That's about right on track, but look at that. We added 37 degrees to that to end up with a high of 74, 20 degrees above average. Not quite record territory, though. That's 80 for today, set in 1933. Could be a different story tomorrow, as the record is not quite as warm. And here is the result of 9 out of 10 months being below average in terms of precipitation, almost 6.5 inches below average for the year. We need some moisture. 58 degrees at the station, 61, I should say, at the station, 58 out at the airport. Dew points are quite dry in the 30s, and that's one reason why the air cooled off so much last night. And past several nights we've seen lows in the 30s and then warm so much during the day. 52 for you folks in Eau Claire with a calm wind. And look at these temperatures, still quite mild. Temperatures all the way in the 40s and 50s up to the U.S.-Canadian border. That is abnormally mild for this time of night and this time of year. Our traditional cooler spots are in the 40s, but everybody else in the 50s, even a 63 still in Winona. Winds out of the south at about 5 to 10, even 15 miles per hour over parts of southeastern Minnesota. So just some high clouds north of Eau Claire. This ridge of high pressure and the clockwise flow around it, southerly wind flow, and that's why temperatures are so warm, and they will continue to stay warm tomorrow and Thursday. Eventually, this cold front will finally bring some changes and some much needed rain later in the week. In the meantime, clear skies tonight, lots of sunshine tomorrow. A few clouds, kind of fair weather clouds scattered about in the afternoon. Kind of breezy south winds though. And then Thursday, clouds increase in advance of that front, and eventually some rain will start to break out and start to move east across the areas we head into Thursday night. So for tomorrow, check out these highs, mid-70s, right around 75 or 76 degrees in La Crosse, low to mid-70s down to the south, and more the same as we head back to the north. Again, a lot of these numbers, 20+ degrees above average for this time of year. So 48 tonight, not as chilly as the past several nights. Tomorrow, 76. The record is 75, set in 1938. So that could be in jeopardy with a sunny to partly cloudy sky. And again, breezy both tomorrow and Thursday. Still mild Thursday. Then rain likely Thursday night into Friday, maybe even some thunder involved in that. Still periods of rain likely on Saturdays. We drop back into the 50s for highs and a slight chance of showers next Tuesday for Election Day. But no excuses to get out and vote. 58 degrees, and that rain should be pretty light and scattered. And again, daylight saving time ends early Sunday morning, so set those clocks back 1 hour.
All right. Thanks very much, Bill.
Okay. Coming up, a trading frenzy in the NFL, but one NFC North team stayed quiet.
And the Bucs are off to a very fast start. Why finding success might get even easier.
News 8 Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Whether you need routine care or treatment for a complex condition, Mayo Clinic Health System has convenient and safe options for the care you and your family need.
The Coulee region has been good to me and my family, and I wanted to give something back. That's why I ran for the state assembly. And I've tried to do good things in Madison for the people of western Wisconsin. Wisconsin is facing a lot of problems today, and we need people who understand how things work. Right now, Wisconsin has a $5 billion surplus. With that surplus, we need to cut taxes. We need to fix our roads, and we need to fund our schools, and we need to do that now.
What's the difference between a house and a home? Home is the place you're most comfortable. Knauf fiberglass insulation is the easy way to make your home more comfortable, more sustainable, and more energy efficient. Knauf is Energy Star certified. It can save you up to 15% on your utility bills while increasing your family's comfort. Stop by Menards today for everything you need, including expert advice. Knauf, for the world we live in. Visit Menards for your 11% off today.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to the brand new Holiday Inn Express and Suites. Whether you're here for business, family events, or a weekend getaway, we've got you covered. Overtired, overworked? Lay down in one of our super comfy beds. Got kids? Our adjoining rooms are perfect for a restful night's sleep. Let the kids burn off energy in our kiddie pool while you relax in our hot tub. Come check in and check out our brand new Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Onalaska La Crosse.
His job was to serve and protect. Instead, reports say Dave Estenson assaulted and preyed on girls for years. One report of sexually assaulting a teenager. Multiple reports of Estenson trying to coerce girls into sexual favors to avoid citations. And Estenson wants to ban all abortions, forcing victims of rape and incest to carry their predator's child. Sexual predators belong behind bars, not in the state Senate.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Here's News 8 Now's Kate Overton.
The NFL trade deadline has officially passed. Usually there's a few deals here and there, nothing too crazy, but that was different today. It felt like an NBA or even an MLB deadline, and the Packers, they were quiet while the rest of the division were making moves. Over in Minnesota, they were going after a new tight end after the news of Irv Smith Jr. being out, and they got a really good one in TJ Hawkinson. He's now a Viking. After Minnesota sent a 2023 second-round pick and a 2024 third-round pick to Detroit, Minnesota also getting a fourth-round pick in return. But this is pretty big news for the Vikings. Hockenson has been one of the top tight ends in the league since being drafted in 2019. He won the Mackey Award for the best college tight end in 2018. And now he's not only is he a threat in the passing game, he's also one of the best blocking tight ends as well to help with their run game. A huge get for the 6-1 Minnesota Vikings. And after trading away Roquan Smith yesterday, the Bears were making moves again today, this time getting another weapon for their young QB. They got Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick. Claypool was originally a second-round pick in 2020 and had 9 touchdowns in his rookie year. He's had just 3 touchdowns since, but the Bears will hope to unlock his new potential now that he's on a new team. Not sure this is going to help them a ton this year, but Chicago's definitely building for a bright future. And one thing Green Bay did do today is they announced that former Packers Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton will be inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame in 2023. It's the franchise's 52nd Hall of Fame induction. Jordy Nelson, he was selected by the Packers in the second round of the 2008 draft, and for 9 seasons, he wore the Packers colors just as well as anyone. He ranks 4th in team history for receptions. He's number 6 in receiving yards and number 3 in touchdown receptions. And of course, helping the Packers win a Super Bowl with 9 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. Josh Sitton was a 4th-round pick in that same draft. He played 8 seasons on the offensive line for Green Bay, starting in 112 of 121 regular season games. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, and a key part of the offensive line every year. The official banquet will be next August. In the NBA, the Timberwolves are on the road in Phoenix taking on the Suns. This game tipped off at 9 p.m. So just in halftime, this one's 47-54 in favor of the Suns. Anthony Edwards with a team high of 15 points. And last night, the Milwaukee Bucks moved to 6-0 on the season and is the only undefeated team left in the league. And they're doing this all without Chris Middleton. But good news. Middleton returned to practice today with the Wisconsin Herd to get back in the swing of things. Middleton underwent wrist surgery in July, and before that, sprained his MCL in the first round of the playoffs. He averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists last season. College basketball starting up, and with that, ESPN released their list of the best women's college basketball players, where former Aquinas basketball star Alexi Donarski was listed at number 24. She's coming off a sophomore year where she was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Now as a junior, the team is even better, and Donarski will be a huge part of their success. A quick look to later this week, the WIA State Soft Volleyball Semifinal. We have one team competing in that. Waniwak Center is back in Green Bay for the 2nd straight year, and they'll be up against McDonald Central Catholic on Friday morning. And Aquinas back at state in boys soccer for the first time since 2012. The Blue Golds beat Northern Pines last Saturday to clinch their spot. Now they take on Cristo Rey in the first round in Milwaukee Friday morning. So we'll have those highlights, and we'll also have the 3rd round of the football playoffs as well. So it's going to be a packed show. I know it's only Tuesday, but I'm looking forward to it. That's all for now. We'll be right back.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight. And our fuel economy is ever so wise. Trust us, Toyota sedans. Toyota, let's go places.
This is fentanyl, so dangerous that one pill kills. They make it in China, smuggle it through Mexico. Across our border that Joe Biden surrendered to cartels and gangs. Brad Path backs Biden's open border agenda 100%. Fentanyl killed 1,200 people last year in Wisconsin alone. Now every town is a border town. PATH won't stop the drugs, so we have to stop Brad Path.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
All good plans eventually deteriorate into hard work. Brandy, Anna, Cammie, Martha, Mark, Marsh, Dave, Dan, and Travis are here to help with your plans. Operations gets things ordered and scheduled, and this is where the rubber hits the road. A great team of carpenters, plumbers, and electricians to assure your project is on time and on budget. The Board Store for windows and doors, bathrooms and kitchens, sunrooms, siding, and more. Call or visit today.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland.
As in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it, Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face
With every meal made just for you.
That really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
I see your hard work, everything you do to try to make it. But people continue to be left behind. I'm running for Senate to put more money in your pocket. Ron Johnson's had 12 years to make things better, but costs are still rising, and all he's managed to do is write a tax cut for himself. I believe better is possible. I believe hard work can pay off, and I'll never stop fighting until it does. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight, and our fuel economy is ever so wise. Trust us, Toyota sedans. Toyota, let's go places.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
So the weather did not cooperate for the 17th annual Step It Out in Pink, but this community sure did. As you recall, that event was canceled due to rain. But guess what? Today we learned the fundraising walk has met its goal of raising $350,000 to support breast cancer research and patients.
Now that goal was met with the help of the 4,000 people who participated and 350 volunteers. The 18th annual event is going to be scheduled for Saturday, September 9th of next year, but you can still support this year's event. We'll have a link at news8000.com with more information.
An upcoming music event is bringing some world-renowned musicians right to the La Crosse area.
They sure are. UWL will host its annual New Music Festival for the next 3 days. Tomorrow, starting at 7:30, you'll get a chance to hear music from UWL student ensembles.
Yeah, Thursday, UWL faculty and guests are going to perform selections from living composers. All the concerts are free. They are open to the public. You can hear them at the Lowe Center for the Arts.
Good stuff to look forward to. Bill's got a last look at your forecast right after this.
He pushed tax loopholes benefiting himself. Send him back, and he'll make things worse. Ron Johnson would let Wisconsin ban abortion, even in cases of rape, and said if you don't like it, you can move. He voted to raise the retirement age and wants to end guaranteed spending on the Social Security you earned.
Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme, but that's exactly what it is.
Ron Johnson, still making it harder on us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
I've practiced personal injury law for 4 years.
For 20 years.
For 32 years.
But I won't write your will.
I don't write contracts.
And I don't handle divorces.
The law profession is broad and complex. I focus my career on one thing.
Helping injured people.
All I do every day
is help injured people get the compensation that they deserve.
At Bygoff and Rohde, that's how we get results.
Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears his country's cause.
For the service you have done in this great struggle, I present you sincere thanks for myself and for the country.
And we remember those who were prepared to make that sacrifice if it were demanded of them in the line of duty.
For upon the outcome depends the freedom of your lives.
Tim Michaels wants to scare you with lies. Here's the truth. Independent fact checkers gave Michaels' parole attacks a pants-on-fire rating, saying they were false and that the governor does not allow any release of criminals. That's a fact. And here's another fact. Tony Evers actually increased police funding, and he's working to invest in high-crime areas, in job training, after-school programs, and mental health. So when you see all these, do this.
Dings, dents, scratches, big crunches. You know where to bring them. Pischke Motors Collision Center on 2nd Street in downtown La Crosse. When you've got a crew of professional body and paint technicians like ours, you provide them with the latest in repair equipment. And that's what we've done in this state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly facility. We have customer drive-in lanes, soft-touch 24-hour car wash. So when the dings, dents, scratches, and even the big crunches happen, bring them to Pischke Motors Collision Center on 2nd Street in downtown La Crosse.
Jolivet Family Farms, known for farm fresh fruit and vegetables, but featuring so much more. Come see all that we have. Homemade bakery, large selection of locally produced honey, gourmet popcorn, craft beer, wine, and cheese, meat and seafood, arts and crafts, and so much more. There is no substitute for homegrown freshness. Open daily year-round. Jolivet Family Farms, West Salem.
Not quite as chilly as the past several nights. Lows in the 40s for most. In fact, upper 40s to near 50 here in the Cross. Another unseasonably warm day tomorrow. Highs around 76 degrees. The record tomorrow is 75, set in 1938. So that could be in jeopardy. Kind of breezy both tomorrow and Thursday, but still warm Thursday, 73. And then finally, some much needed rain enters the picture. Thursday night and Friday, maybe even some thunder in spots as well. Still periods of rain likely on Saturday. And then Sunday's looking dry with highs back in the 50s.
All right. Thanks so much, Bill, and thank you for joining us tonight at 10.
We hope you'll join us again tomorrow.